everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Disney Cruise Line Show, coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio, and you have no idea how nice it is to say that, in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined via Skype this week by my good friends Corey Martin.
I'm just happy to be here.
Denny Sunderly.
Hi there.
Sean Falk.
Hi.
And Craig Williams.
Ahoy, ahoy.
And before we get into this week's show, just a reminder to everyone that this show, along with many of the other shows we produce, as well as all the content that we produce on the Diz, DizBoards.com, DVC Fan, DCL Fan, all of it, brought to you by DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com. And we're asking everybody, especially during this particular time, show their support for us, for our team, for our content, by asking you to book your next cruise with Dreams Unlimited. You're going to pay the same price you pay Disney. It's no more expensive, except you're going to get a shipboard credit up to $1,000, depending on how much your cruise is. You're going to get an exclusive gift bag that we send out with stuff you'll need for your cruise. You're going to get the services, most importantly, of a really well-trained, knowledgeable, professional agent who's going to help you navigate whatever it is you want to do to make your cruise the best it can possibly be. Sean Falk is one of those agents, along with many others. So please consider showing your support by booking your next cruise. DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com. Find a link to that right below us in the show notes here on YouTube or on DizUnplugged.com if you're listening via iTunes. And we'll also have a link to Sean's direct agent page. So if you want him to book your next cruise, he can do that for you. So this week, we're going to talk about the Very Merry Time sailings. We did one show on Halloween on the High Seas, and we thought we'd do one on the Very Merry Time as well. But before we get into our discussion, here's a look at a little overview of the Very Merry Time sailings. Okay, so let's just poll the group. Who has not done a maritime sailing? Oh, everybody. Okay.
Yep.
Good. So just a little bit about the maritime sailings. As we mentioned with the Halloween sailings, these are really tastefully done. So it's not like you're getting it shoved down your throat every time you turn around. But the decorations around the ship, they just do such an incredible job. They do a tree lighting ceremony. They do Santa's Winter Wonderland Ball. They're going to have, character meet and greets with the characters dressed in holiday outfits, which is really, really cute. They do things for the kids like theme decorating, decorating stockings and making, holiday cards, doing all sorts of stuff like that. It's really special. And these are extremely popular sailings. So I just want to get it in right now, especially when they release the fall 2021 sailings. I just have a feeling, because of everything that's been going on, that there's a lot of pent-up demand. These are going to book very quickly. So you're going to want to book these as soon as possible, because, as you know, the longer you wait, the higher the price goes. The more they fill the ship, and I hear Sean's dogs.
Something happened. They just took off. I don't know.
The more they fill the ship, the higher the prices go, and the lowest you'll ever pay for these cruises is when they first release. So if you'd like to get on the list for those, we can help you. Dreams Unlimited Travel. Just send an email to future_bookings. I think it is. It's either booking or bookings. Future_bookings at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And they will assign you an agent. That agent will work with you so that when the cruises release, they'll get you a quote. They'll get you a quote. So, I'm sure I'm not alone in this. I absolutely love the holidays. I love Christmas time. It's my favorite time of the year. I love what they do at Disney World for Christmas most of the time. I think Disneyland's even better. But Cruise Line, again, just the elegance of the decorations. I don't participate in any of the activities, but what a way to start off your holiday season. So Denny,
you don't take a nibble. You don't take a nibble out of that gingerbread house.
No, I try not to. But Denny, since you hadn't been on a Halloween cruise for the last show that we did about this, let's start with you. Talk to me about the maritime cruises and what you like about them.
Yeah, so for our family, the holidays are really, really big. We love anything to do with the holidays, like you said, like Mickey's Very Merry at the Magic Kingdom. We love that. We love just the whole 9 yards about the holidays. And so even when we lived in Maryland, it was pretty easily justified to take the kids out of school, to fly down and to go on some of these holiday cruises. We, got a little harder as the kids got older, as far as making sure all the assignments were done and not missing any tests and things. But as soon as you walk onto the ship, you step foot into the lobby atrium, it is just this palpable enveloping of the holidays. You've stepped in and there's this gorgeous tree in the lobby. You smell the gingerbread house as you walk by that. They have garland, just the most gorgeous garland on all 3 floors of the lobby. It's just magnificent. Great Christmas merch in the shops and everything. But for us, it starts when you get your cruise documents and it says Very Merry Time on the front. And it's just from the word go, that this is going to be different. They'll also do this for the Halloween on the high seas cruises, from what I understand. You'll get your cruise documents and it'll be personalized on the front with that special sailing. But it's just neat to look forward to. We love the tree lighting ceremony is really cool. Even the Till We Meet Again goodbye with all the characters on the last night of the cruise, that will even have a holiday kind of theme and overlay to it. So they weave it in. Like you said, it's not in your face in an obnoxious way, but they weave it in just a beautiful way. And you're constantly reminded that you're here for the holiday season. So we've loved it.
Corey?
I think what I love the most about it, I mean, obviously it's hard not to like Christmas decorations, whether it's on somebody's house or in the parks or on a cruise ship. It looks beautiful. I love how they decorate Castaway Cay. There's something about the contrast of sun and snow and a holiday, like a Christmas on an island. It's just something special, something unique, and similar to like Blizzard Beach. It's all that snow, all the. I used to tell the kids, "Is this real snow?" I'm like, "Yeah, go lick it." But I think Castaway Cay is a highlight, though, for me. It's just
and then he wonders. I'm sorry, he wonders why his kids have trust issues.
But Castaway Cay, and there's so many photo opportunities for take your Christmas photos on the ship. I mean, there's endless opportunities to take photos here with the decorations. It's great. Yeah, and like Denny said, the tree. Like the whole atrium area, it's beautiful.
Sean, what about you? What's your take on the Christmas cruises?
I really, really enjoy it. I personally prefer the Christmas, the Maritime cruises to the Halloween on the High Seas. I would do the Christmas ones every single year if I could. The Halloween on the High Seas, I sporadically would. But one of the things, there are so many maritime options. I mean, you can do 3 nights all the way up to 8 nights. They have them out of Galveston. They have a ton of them out of Florida. They have even you can take the Panama Canal cruise and have that as a maritime sailing. So, and those are 14 nights. So there is such a broad spectrum of opportunities there. The very first Disney cruise I did and the first cruise period that I did was in early November of like 2013. So it was a maritime sailing. I was not aware when I got on the ship, but it was really cool to get on and see that giant Christmas tree, get to see all the characters. I came home and talked to all my friends about it, and lots of people that I know go on these every single year. Friends of mine go, oddly enough, particularly, I used to live in Myrtle Beach, and it has a really, really large Jewish population there. And these maritime sailings are really, really popular with Jewish people because they can go through Hanukkah, and pricing is a lot cheaper at that point than it is over Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Because people always put in those requests saying we want to go over Christmas or over Thanksgiving. And then they're really shocked when the price is like a couple $1,000s higher. I mean, you would pay as much for a 4-night over Christmas as you would for a 7-night the week prior. Even in like an inside cabin versus getting a balcony or something. Like it's that drastic of a price difference. So cautious to people who maybe be a little workable through there. If that's not something you want to do, or you don't have to do actual Thanksgiving or Christmas Day on the ship.
That's a good point. Gregory, what about you?
I think for me, it's just that the very maritime cruises are kind of like a half blend of like a stay at Walt Disney World during Christmas at like specifically at a place like Wilderness Lodge or Grand Floridian or Animal Kingdom Lodge that has that nice tree in the lobby, but then also, like with Grand Floridian has the gingerbread house too. So like it's kind of like that. It is your hotel on the sea, so you're constantly passing those holiday touches, but then it also has that blend of like kind of like the very Merry Christmas party with special activities, characters in special costumes, the little shows. So to me, it's kind of like it's that same feeling that you can get from the parks, but just you're in an enclosed space. And then when you want to get out of it, it's fine. You just avoid those areas, and you're still on a normal cruise where you don't have to have Christmas thrown in you can balance it out perfectly yourselves. I love Christmas, and I love how Disney does Christmas, so for me it is the coolest thing. And like the winter ball that they do during the cruise, I thought it was one of the best well done atrium shows that I've been a part of. Like most of them, it's just mainly a way to bring the characters out so you can take photos for a little while, and then they go back on their merry way and leave. But I didn't know anything about this show when I saw it this past year, and so I was surprised when Anna and Elsa came out too, and then they made it snow. Elsa made it snow in the atrium, and it's not like she made it like trickle down kind of like Main Street. I'm talking like my hair was wet. It was snowing so hard inside the atrium. So just something about it. It's just, I feel like with Christmas, they figured out the perfect balance of everything, putting in the holidays, having it be just classic Disney Cruise Line, and marrying that all together.
I have a question. I don't remember. Is there a meet and greet with Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus on the ship? I know they're at Disney for the holidays, and they're great, especially the ones at the U.S. pavilions. But I forgot if they were on the ship.
There is a meet and greet with Santa, and then Mrs. Claus. I know she does like a story time thing where she reads some kind of Christmas-ish stories, like maybe like Rudolph or something. I'm not.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But I agree with, and it kind of harkens back to what Craig and I both were saying in the Halloween episode that we did. The Christmas one, it's not as big a deal that if they don't have events for adults. Like the Halloween, it's very geared towards families. Christmas, I feel like, is a different story because you can just. I'm okay just existing around Christmas tree, Christmas lights, that kind of stuff. They didn't have to have any special events necessarily. It could have just been decorated, and I'd have been pretty happy with that. So the fact that there are these extras and bonuses, they really add on to it, but it's fine. With Halloween, I walk in the atrium, I'm amazed the first time, and then I kind of just overlook it the rest of the cruise, where it's like, this just exists around me. Whereas with Christmas, every time I walk through, I'm like, oh my God, the garland and the tree and the lights and the music and all this stuff throughout the ship is just amazing, and it sticks with you. So even if you don't care about the events, it is neat to just exist in that decorated world.
Yeah.
Craig?
And beyond that, too, like, I love that. I know we mentioned a little bit about movies in the Halloween one we did of these, but I love that, too, with Christmas time that they, if you go on your TV in the stateroom and you have selection of Christmas movies, too. And so the party can even continue back in your stateroom, keeping the Christmas vibe going all night long. But back to the family-friendly aspect of it, too. Kylie and I, on our last one that Disney put us on this past year, we did every single Christmas activity I think that we possibly could that cruise. The only one that we agreed on, we felt like we were out of place at, was the story time with Mrs. Claus, because that was like pretty much kids between like 6 months being propped up by their parents on their siblings or whatever they could find through like 6 years old, and they were all engaged and active in it, and like all the parents then stood as far back as possible, and like Kylie and I got one of the seats just off to the side of the tree, and I was like, this will be good. And then we're like, I'm not going to block any kids for this, and of course I didn't, because I was sitting down, I had a pool behind me, but even then, like, we were still surrounded.
I picture
kids, and I was like, okay, we're not, this is cute, but we are not the demographic for this at all. But everything else, like, I went to some stuff by myself, and I'm like, I enjoy all of this. I didn't need to, but story time with Mrs. Claus, that was the only thing that it's like, this is, bring your little ones and enjoy that.
And my last time doing a Merry Time was actually 5 years ago. It was one of our podcast cruises. We had about 400 or 500 Dizzers on the ship with us. It was also my 50th birthday. So, my mom, my two aunts, my Aunt Edith and my Aunt Janice were there. And it was really the best birthday I've ever had. Honestly, it was incredible. The actual day of my birthday, we were on Castaway Cay. We were able to get a cabana. And again, as Corey was pointing out, you get off on Castaway Cay and it's all decked out for Christmas. And it is that contrast of themes between
an island.
Christmas and a tropical island is really cool. But it was, and I didn't do any of, I don't believe we did any of the Christmas activities. But you walk through that atrium. It's breathtaking. And the merchandise and all the little extras that they do. Absolutely, absolutely breathtaking. So it's... I'm sorry, Sean, go ahead.
Also with these, if you're somebody that hasn't been on a Disney cruise before, or maybe you just haven't been in that time of year, it could either be a really good gift option, like if you want to go ahead and book it this year for going at Christmas of 2021 or Thanksgiving of 2021. It's an awesome way of doing that. But also, if you've never done it, they do have a lot of options out of Miami for the Very Merry Time sailings, which isn't necessarily the case with the Halloween sailings. And when you're coming in, like if you're coming to Disney World, obviously you have the free Magical Express to take you to Disney World. So if you're flying from Baltimore or from Des Moines or wherever it is and transferring in, you may have most of the time you'll have cheaper flights flying into Miami. And from there you can get an Uber, you can get Lyft, you can get those options, and that's a lot more viable. Whereas here, if you're flying into Orlando, you either are going to need to take FL Tours, Disney's transfers or something, because it's still over an hour to the port to get there. So you got to factor that into your pricing as well. That's at least $78 extra per person round trip. So it may be cheaper to just fly to Miami and still get to do one of these cruises.
Well, I can actually speak on that because that's every year my wife and I switch off going home for Christmas. So for me, it's going back to Pennsylvania, and for her, it's actually staying here because that's where all her family is. And so this year, we wouldn't be going back up to Pennsylvania for Christmas, so my family decided that we would like to try a Very Merry Time cruise together. And I say try because my dad hates cruising. He's been on one Alaska cruises, and he enjoyed that because he felt close to land, but he's been very nervous to try anything else beyond that. And when we were pricing it out, that we ran into exactly what Sean was saying. It was actually cheaper. We could do a 5-night out of Miami for less money than doing a 4 or a 3-night out of Port Canaveral. So you can have more nights, a longer vacation out of it, and then even if they want to just fly into Orlando, it's still pretty much cheaper to rent a rental car one way and drive down to Miami, even if they wanted to come in a day or two early to hang out with us. So it's Miami's a good option. And when I was looking at that earlier in the year, when we first started planning all this stuff out, there was so much more availability for Miami cruises than there was out of Port Canaveral. So it's something to think about.
It is also a good way to try a different ship, because that's going to be the Disney Magic. And a lot of people who have done them, I hear it all the time where they're like, well, we've only done the Dream and the Fantasy because those are the ones that typically go to the Bahamas and, to the Caribbean. But it's a good shot to try one of the classic ships if you've never been on it and you don't want to go over to Europe, or you're not going to go up to Canada or Bermuda or something.
Right, and I think I might be in the minority here, but we'll talk about this on another show. I prefer the classic ships over the new ones. I prefer the Wonder is actually my favorite ship.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, similar to what Craig said, to the Christmas movies being on your stateroom televisions, they'll also show Christmas movies up on the top deck on Funnel Vision. And Funnel Vision's a huge television that they've got attached to one of the ship's funnels. They'll be playing, Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas and Mickey's Christmas Carol. So you'll even get a little taste of maritime fun, of Christmas fun.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. That's going to do it for this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next week with another edition of the Disney Cruise Line Show. Have a great week, everybody.